Whenever I go live, someone decides to start some DI fucking Y outside or building something. Okay, never mind. Just hopefully the noise won't go over my voice. Probably not because I'm pretty loud. Okay, today I want to talk about, I want to give you guys 4 ways to soften loneliness. And I actually sent this out to my daily love notes list a couple of days ago, and they really enjoyed it and they got a lot from it. So I thought, oh, well, I'll share it with you guys too. So 4 ways to soften loneliness then. Again, I'm sorry for the DIY outside. Like, I think they literally wait until I go to do a video and then they're like, oh yeah, there she goes, she's doing a video, so let's just make all the noise. Anyway, okay. So I spoke to my mum yesterday, and I know I wrote this a few days ago, but I actually did speak to her yesterday as well. And I really miss her. I mean, I'm in the Netherlands and she's in the UK. And I don't know when I can see her again because of the whole quarantine in England things, and I've got to be back here and all of that. So it's hard to accept that fact, but I practice what I preach. So it inspired me to write this love note today about loneliness. And mindfully meeting your loneliness can transform feelings of emptiness into a possibility. So I'm going to give you 4 ways to soften loneliness. And way number one, tip number one, let go of unhelpful stories. I mean, without going off on a tangent, this can be with all areas of your life. Stories, right, are when we as humans experience a situation and we attach emotion to it because we are emotional creatures, obviously. So when we experience something, especially if we have a negative emotion, we hold on to that and we create a story up around that situation that's happened. And then whenever something triggers you in the future or in this moment, your mind goes back to that negative story, then all the negative feelings come up again. So again, that's off on a bit of a tangent. But all too often, talking about loneliness, it's tangled up with fear, because deep down, we're actually afraid that being lonely means there's something wrong with us or we're not wanted. We feel that we're unlovable or that no one truly gets us and we're going to be alone forever. Your mind likes to do that. It likes to think of a bit of a negative thought and then think of it. It's like bridging your thoughts. If you've heard me talk about bridging your thought, it's to find a positive affirmation or a positive belief. It's like bridging your thoughts but in the opposite direction. So your brain's like, find something negative and it's like, oh yeah, then this is also negative, and it creates this big story up around it. So you're not going to be alone forever. I promise you that. We're all loved and we're all perfect exactly the way we are. But the stories we tell ourselves around loneliness are untrue. They keep us stuck and they weigh us down. And sadly, these tales of self-thought deserve our constant attention. And the problem with giving them our constant attention is, like I said, with the bridging the thoughts to the negative, they end up growing and consuming all of your thoughts. So you just make it like a lot worse than it actually is. So our job is to interrupt these troubling thoughts and to focus on something else. We must stop buying into the stories that we're creating out of fear. Eventually, we realise that loneliness is actually a part of a human experience, just like joy, just like sadness, just like laughter. And it's okay to be lonely sometimes. When we take away that fear and the idea that things shouldn't be this way, we realise that actually we're okay, that we are strong enough, we are creative enough and compassionate enough to deal with discomfort. Again, I'm talking about dealing with these uncomfortable emotions, which sounds boring, I know. Well, I used to think it was boring and sometimes I still think it is boring. But what choice do we have? Like, the more you check in with yourself and be like, sorry, I've got a notification, record new content. Well, that's what I'm doing, diary. Sorry, distracted. The more we start checking in with ourselves and just feeling what emotions we are without judgment, without being like, oh my God, I'm feeling anxious, like, no, go away. Just be like, I feel anxious, and just let that anxiety be there. Accept it as part of who you are. So next time you notice yourself ruminating on unhelpful ideas, pause, be present with the new growth that can come from pausing and being present. So open up the extraordinary into the ordinary. So be intentional where you place your attention. So without a doubt, the stories that we hold on to around loneliness and around other things will torture you if you let them. Keep practicing letting go, feeling the feelings and then letting them go. Don't suppress them. Don't be like, no, I don't want you to be here. Just be like, okay, say it out loud, I feel lonely, and feel that pain of loneliness, and then just like, let it go, let it go, let it go. Okay, I can't sing. And by the way, I'm a bit hyper because I've had my first bulletproof coffee. My fiance Vavs is always having this bulletproof coffee, and it smells divine, and I don't like coffee. And he said, why don't you try it? So I made it, and it's got coffee, obviously, freshly ground, grass-fed organic butter, MCT oil, and collagen. And it was really creamy, and it was actually really nice, but I'm a bit hyper, but my mouth tastes like coffee breath. Like, that's a thing, right? That's horrible. Anyway, sorry, completely gone off tangent. Keep practicing feeling your feelings. There's a saying that I think it was Ed Milet, one of my heroes, said, and it was something like, let me try and get this right. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Yes, I think I nailed it. Ed Milet, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Because we're all going to feel pain, right? We're all going to feel pain. But suffering, on the other hand, is choosing to dwell on that pain, is choosing to go into victim mode and poor me kind of thing. Like, yes, I can feel the pain, but then what am I going to do to either make that pain better, turn it into something positive, or just simply accept that I'm in fucking pain, whether that be emotional or physical. But suffering is when you're fighting. So with body image, even, I always bring it back to body image because that's so close to my heart. With body image, when you're fighting that you just cannot accept yourself the way you are, that's suffering, and you're choosing that suffering, which sounds fucked up, but if you're struggling with that, reach out to me, I can help. Okay, tip number 2, share how you're really feeling. Sometimes we feel lonely because we hide who we are and how we're feeling from others. So when a friend asks you, how are you? Tell them the truth. Like, instead of automatically saying, especially in England, it's like, hi, you all right? And you go, yes, thanks, you. Well, I don't. I'm honest with my answer. So if you're not very happy, hey, Phil, not seen you for a while. If you're not very happy, if someone says to you, how are you? Be honest and be like, okay, well, actually, yesterday was really difficult for me, but I'm trying to deal with it today. So I could do with a bit of help or a bit of support. Or obviously, if it's a person in the coffee shop, you probably won't delve in so deep to your personal life. But instead of just pretending that we're okay, let's try and be honest and reach out to people and tell each other how we're feeling. When people ask me how I'm feeling, most of the time my answer is, I'm really good, thank you. I'm feeling really good. How about you? And if I'm not feeling good, I'll be like, do you know what? I actually feel shit, but how are you? And I'm just being honest. And my hair is so long, and now my hair's caught under my armpit. Anyway, so another one you can say is you can be vulnerable. So if a friend calls you up and be like, how are you? You can say something like, I'm really grateful you called. It's so good to hear your voice. I've been missing you. I've been feeling quite lonely. So just expressing your feelings to others can help yourself. Like, that saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, and loneliness isn't a problem, but it can just help to share your feelings, because being vulnerable can leave us feeling a little tender and exposed. But the beauty is that it facilitates true connection. By opening ourselves up to be seen and to be heard, we're no longer in our own inner experience. So number 3, be brave and reach out to people in similar situations to you. So our lives and lives of those around us are forever changing. Friends get married, they have kids, like other friends move away, like I'm in the Netherlands. They find themselves busy with new jobs. Like sadly, the people who once kept us company might not have the time that they once did to hang out with us or to reassure us. And that loss comes with change. And undoubtedly, it's worth grieving over, but it's essential to give yourself compassion. Hi, Claire. It's essential to give yourself compassion when you're feeling this pain. And I talk about this with my clients all the time. The first thing I ask them, if they're feeling uneasy or they're having a negative experience, I'll ask them, where's your compassion? Where's your compassion for yourself? And I don't care if they get bored of me saying it, compassion always first, and then we can look at the situation. So at the same time, we need to open ourselves up to new people. So if you're feeling lonely, reach out to people who also might be feeling lonely. You know, especially those that have similar schedules, morning darling, and similar interests. There's no shortage of digital spaces to connect with like-minded people. So if you're looking for mindful company, check out Facebook groups that spark your interest, or try a new app or a dating app. Or I mean, I don't have much experience with dating apps, and I've heard some are good and some aren't, but even just like, you know, talking to people can help. Or even look for like a business course, whatever suits you. Like you can, like I'm in a self-love group at the moment by Gina Swire, she's awesome. And it's like a tribe of women going through the same experience as you. And it's just amazing to connect with like-minded people. And by the way, a plug or whatever you want to call it, I genuinely have a Victoria's Secrets to Self-Love community, and it's amazing. It's the best community, and the girls are just so amazing in there, and they're really building up this sense of community and support for each other, and it's an amazing place to be. So if you're interested in joining, just let me know. But going back to what I was saying, there are people out there to help you, and they're waiting to meet you. So you might also consider donating your time to support others. So I know with Corona and stuff at the moment, it might not be as easy to like go and volunteer somewhere, but you know, it might help you in the future. Go and volunteer, go and help out, go and meet people if you're lonely. And the fourth one, which is the most important one, I believe, and I talk about this all the time, is befriending yourself. So like, see yourself as a best friend. Like, my question to you is, are you your own best friend? And if not, why not? And if someone had asked me that a few years ago, I'd be like, well, what a stupid question. I think I was quite arrogant a few years ago before I went on this journey. But like, if you're not your own best friend, why aren't you your own best friend? Because you are going to live with you forever. So you may as well start building a relationship with yourself. I talk to my clients in regards of, in the realm of food, in the realm of body acceptance and body image. It's all about building a relationship with yourself. And you know, a good relationship and a strong and healthy relationship is the fact that you work at it. You know, like with my fiance Valtteri, he's my, I believe he's my soul twin, which means like, if anyone's spiritual out there, you've got one soul, then it's split in two, and then in a lifetime you're like two different people, and that's a bit woo-woo for some maybe, but I know that he's my soul twin. And where was I even going with this? I've lost my train of thought. Oh, that was so good in my mind, and now it's just gone. But oh yeah, befriending yourself. That was it. Building relationships. So he's my soul twin. It doesn't mean that we get like, we never disagree. I mean, we never argue because we communicate instead. But it's not like we never disagree because we've got our humanness in between our souls. Okay. So building a good relationship is about communicating, understanding, empathy, compassion. But why aren't you giving that to yourself? Because you're building a relationship with yourself, right? Instead of just scolding yourself all the time like you're a child, like how about seeing yourself not as like two separate people, because that's a bit psychotic, some may think, but as like building a relationship with who you are. I hope that makes sense. If you want any more info on that, I can talk about that a lot more. But the thing I'm getting to is, one of the most helpful things we can ever do is learn to love our own company. Notice what's getting in the way of you enjoying time alone. For many of us, the voice in our head, okay, let's reframe that for nearly all of us, the voice in our head can be very judgmental and very unkind and not a very good friend. So stop giving your inner critic the mic, if you like, and start listening to those quieter voices that are within that will guide you back to what nourishes you and what inspires you. Because that voice of compassion comes from your heart, and she's a bit quieter than the voice in your mind, which is the one that's like, well, you're not good enough and that shit, and your video is not great and whatever, like all this annoying stuff that it tells you, like that's your mind, that's not you, they're your thoughts, you are not your thoughts. That quiet, loving, compassionate voice is in your heart, so just get quiet to listen. When I was, before my recovery process, those of anyone that has known me for a long time, I could not sit still. Like the worst thing in the world to me, it makes me feel quite emotional when I think about it, and the reasons why I feel this way, is I couldn't sit still. So when I had like an hour to myself, it would create anxiety because I couldn't, oh my God, I can't possibly sit with myself. Like I need to be doing something or striving towards something or working out or eating or doing something. Like I just had so much anxiety around being still, and my inner bitch was like, well, it's just boring and that's just what lazy people do. So I had so much resistance with regards to spending time in my own company. And I always used to, when I lived in England, I was always like, when I was out of the cave, I like to call it, the abusive relationship I was in for so many years where I didn't see anybody, when I was out of that, that's when it all started. When I was out of that relationship, if I found myself on my own, I would be like ringing my mum up, like, oh, what are you doing, mum? Or ringing my sister up, because I needed to be with someone all the time because I couldn't be with myself. So just ask yourself that question, like, are you the same? Like, can you spend time with yourself and enjoy it? Some of you might be sitting there being like, oh my God, I love spending time with myself. I love having time to myself. That's amazing. That's awesome. Keep doing that. Try and build that deeper relationship with yourself whilst just spending time with yourself. So the things you can do if you do struggle spending time with yourself and having you seeing yourself as your own best friend, you can take yourself on a little walk, you can make a special dinner for yourself, you can light candles, you can play wonderful music, you can get dressed up and do a puzzle, like whatever feels good to you, just make an effort for yourself. Another great way to build a relationship for yourself is through meditation. And again, the word meditation, when I first heard it, I was like, boring, like, don't want to do that, how boring. But trust me, try it. It really, really, really does help. And you can do guided meditations. I love to do guided meditations. It helps focus your mind so your mind doesn't wander as much. But meditation is a practice of stillness. And it will feel hard as you encounter the parts of yourself that you've been trying to avoid. But with time, you'll learn to care for those parts and grow more fully into yourself. So I hope these 4 tips have helped. And there's always a PS. There's always a PS with me. So PS, if you do need help with your self-love, with your body image thoughts, with eating, if you're going crazy around food, this is what I'm a specialist in, body image, food freedom. Reach out to me and I'd love to help you. I offer free coaching calls, so you haven't even got to be like, oh my God, like I don't want to invest. It's all like, just let's have a chat and see where we go from there. So have an amazing, what day is it? Thursday. Have an amazing Thursday. This is also going to be a podcast, so it might not be Thursday when you guys are listening. By the way, check out how long my hair is. I can't show you on Instagram because I can't move my phone, but check. It's like literally on the table. It's like mermaid hair. It's quite cool. Okay, guys, I love you all. Any questions? I'm going to come live again in a minute because I've got something else to say. See you in a minute.